All right. I believe the stream is up. It is. Yeah, I don't think I need to actually go and set this up. Let me just see here. Oh. Oh, I don't know why is it not showing that it's live. It's live. Okay. Ah, right. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Happy holidays, everyone. It's Jira Bro back with the another, stream. And I believe that this is going to be like the last stream of 2024. And this is going to be everything about the Jira Service Management course. Now, first of all, the first question is what the Jira Service Management is and why you should be using the Jira Service Management. Jira Service Management is all about incident management, request management, change management. It's all about having like a help desk, and within that help desk, you have people who actually need help with something, and you also have the people who are actually resolving these kinds of requests. So we're gonna start like from the scratch. We're gonna be starting and we're gonna be creating our service management project in here. So I'm gonna click on create a project. I'm gonna go for service management. Within the service management, you're gonna have some bunch of templates in here. You can start with a blank project with IT service management, advanced IT service management, and this is going to require a premium license, and you have like general service management, customer service management, and basically like a lot of things. So what I'm actually trying to say in here is that basically this is not only going to be for your IT teams. This can also be for your HR teams, for your business teams, for your marketing teams, and so on and so forth. Okay, for today, I'm gonna be using the customer service management template in here. It's gonna tell me in the right side in here what kind of request types I'm gonna be having in here, and also what is it going to be the workflow for this specific service management project. The great thing is you have these templates that are pre-configured, and of course at any time, if you don't want to actually have it configured like this, at any time you can go in and you can actually change those things. Okay, let's use the template in here. I'm going to call this, for example, let this be nucleus support. All right. I'm also going to be prompted for what kind of support this is, and I'm going to say the channel access is going to be open. Now what this actually means, means that anyone can request, make requests here, and restricted like only the people who have been invited to this specific project, only they can actually do something like this. And that is to actually receive the requests and to make the requests themselves. And I'm going to go for the open, and there are going to be some of the options in here. Okay. So we're in here, and you're actually going to be introduced by this page in here. So first of all, the first thing that you're going to notice is going to be your portal. And we're going to start right from the bat. So this is actually pretty great that you have like the get started option in here, because some of the users might actually be confused, and they're going to be like, oh well, what do I do from here? So the very first thing that most of you are going to be focused on are going to be your queues. Now, in order to explain the queues, I need to explain the two types of users within your Jira Service Management project. So first type of the users are going to be your agents. For these types of users, they are going to be needing the agent license, Jira Service license. And like I believe like up to 3 agents, it's free, and then everything above you actually need to pay for more. Then you have like standard, then you have premium, and then you have like the enterprise. But we're not going to be talking about the prices in here. So agents are the ones who can actually see the queue. Within the queue itself, you can actually see those requests that your other users are actually creating. Now the thing is, even the agents themselves, they can also create requests. How they can do it? Simply, if they click on create button in here. Now what happens? So as you can see, this nucleus support, it is actually coming with the issue type in here, which is going to be the new feature. And that new feature in here actually has the request type of a suggest a new feature. The thing to understand is that the request type and the issue type, they are interconnected. What actually this means that when you have a request type, that request type is usually linked with its issue type. Now the thing is, what you can do here is you can use request type fields, and those request type fields are actually also customizable, that you can actually go for a specific request type, and it's going to show you like the layout of the fields that you can change, and you can even add fields, you can make them required, you can even hide them from your portal, and etc. Alright, so first of all, let's just create a request, shall we? Test request, provide as much as detail as possible. So as you can see, the summary that is actually having this red star here, and there is a red star here. This means that these two fields are actually required, and without them you cannot actually create your request. Okay, moving on. So when I make this, and when I refresh this, I'm going to have this new queue here, and voila. So this is my requesting here. When I click on this request, I can actually see some of the interesting information in here. Now, you can actually see that is in here, it's saying that I have raised this request via Jira. Why is it saying like this? Because there are two ways on how you can actually raise requests within your Jira Service Management project. First one is with the Jira, just like we did. Another way is within the portal itself. I'm going to show you how you can actually do it with the portal. Of course, you have the statuses in here, like the status of open, and then pending, start progress, mark is done, and everything else. If I want, I can go around, I can actually see the actual workflow. That's one thing. The second thing in here that is defined within the Jira Service Management projects are the SLAs. The question is, what is an SLA? An SLA is a service level agreement. What actually this means? This means that usually the ones who are actually giving the support have made an agreement with the upper management on how these requests are going to be handled. What actually this means? What is going to be the time of the first response? What is going to be the time of the resolution of the whole issue? And then it's saying in here, time to the first response within 8 hours, and time of the resolution within the 24 hours. And the question is, what happens if this actually gets breached? Well, this right here is going to turn red. And it's going to say, you know what, time to first response has actually passed in here. You should pay attention to it. So those are the service level agreements. Now, even here, it's saying that for myself, it's saying that even I am a customer actually in here, even though I actually have made a request as an agent. Okay, so that is one thing here. Now, what I can actually do, I can log work in here if I actually want to do that. I can connect this to the Slack channel. I can move this, I can clone this, I can archive it, delete it, find my field, print, basically, etc. So this is how it looks from the agent's point of view. Another way on how you can actually see your requests are with the views themselves. Now, when it comes to views are divided into two parts when it comes to service management projects. So the first part are going to be the boards, and this is going to be the board view. Just like in the regular software and business projects, you actually see the board itself. It's pretty much the same. It has its own columns, it has its statuses, it has everything else that one board is representing. It also comes with the calendar view as well. It's pretty much the same thing. Okay, now you have like this option when you click on raise a request. When I click on raise a request in here, what happens? This right here is the customer portal. So who are the customers? Customers are basically the users who are actually creating the requests for your agents in order to actually solve them. Now the question is, when it comes to customers, they're not billable, so having customers is actually free. So that is something that you should remember. That's one thing. The another thing is, when it comes to customers, you can have those external customers. What actually this means? This means that basically any user who has a link to your customer portal, they can actually go ahead and they can make their specific request. Of course, this can only be done if Jira admin actually does this configuration, and if they enable for this specific project to actually be available for basically anyone who doesn't have an Atlassian account to actually make a support request. I'm going to show you how you can actually do that as well a bit later. But this is mostly what the regular users are going to see. And they're going to be represented with all of these options. So these options right here, these are the actual request types. So when I go here and when I select on technical support in here, this field right here, there is saying raise on the request on behalf of, and it's actually giving my details and everything else. So this needs to be filled out, okay? Now I want to say I'm raising this behalf of Alana Grant, for example. And I can say customer request. Customer request. Okay. I'm going to click on send. When I'm clicking on the send, this is something that I can actually see. Okay. So in here it's saying Alana Grant is the creator. And now, well, I'm not the Alana Grant right now. I'm actually logged in as myself. If I was logged in as Alana Grant, I would actually click my avatar right here and I would go for the requests. And within the requests, I can see all of the requests that I have made. And one thing to know is I'm thinking about all of the requests, not just for the one project, but for your whole Jira instance. So it's not only for one project, like I said, it's for your whole instance and all of the other service management projects out there. Okay, now your customers have options here. So they have some of the options like yeah, here what I'm saying, this is saying like waiting for support. And since I'm an agent as well, I can actually see these options in here. Okay, that's one thing. The another thing is that customers usually can share this with some other people if they actually need. Let's say the managers of those people, right? And I can add them in here, and this is also going to be shared with the another user. What actually that means is you're going to get notifications about everything what is happening within the feature, within the request itself. So this is what your customers are actually seeing in here. Okay. Now if we actually go back in here, and if I refresh this now, I'm going to get another request in here. And now it's saying waiting for support. And when I actually click on this, it's going to say Alana Grant actually did this. Time to resolution. And now it's saying within 2 hours. And time to first response is going to be the 8 hours. And this is actually changing because the priority is actually critical. Now, remember that I have shared this the another user. In order to actually see that, it's within the request participants, and this right here is the actual field. Now, of course, there could be other things added in here, such as labels, approvers, organizations, time tracking. Time tracking doesn't make much sense in here because you already have the SLAs and you don't want to over-engineer things and make them complicated. You just want to make sure that this is easy to understand. Okay. So this is something that we actually have in here as well. So you saw the how the customer portal is looking like. Um, what do we have next? Next we have the knowledge bases. Yes, within the knowledge bases themselves, the great thing is that you can create your own articles in here. So if I click on create an article, it's gonna lead me to the Confluence, and now I'm actually accessing my Confluence in here. Okay, I'm doing this, and I'm also having the templates in here, and most of those templates are related to the service management problems, the service management things. Okay, I have change management, ITSM. I'm going to click on publish, and this is something that I have. So this is the article that I can share in here, and this is the knowledge base, and this knowledge base can actually be accessed by my customers. Correct, they can actually see this knowledge base as well. Moving on, we have the reports. Now when it comes to reports, the very first report is your workload. You want to actually know how much work your agents are actually having. Now, are they overworked? Are they underworked? And so much on. Satisfaction as well. If there were some of the complaints from your customers on some of the requests that was not done that much great, you can actually see it in here, and you can see how you can actually really approve your support services next time, so you don't get 1 star or something like that. Request deflected, honestly didn't use this much. Request solved, yeah, this is actually pretty great because it gives you the graphs and the other reports in here. Yeah, SLA success rate, this is actually pretty good to have, and also SLA met versus breached. So this is like if there are some SLAs that were breached, you can actually see in those SLAs that were actually breached, and you can ask the agent who was assigned to that issue what was going on in there, so you can help them, assist them, so within the next time they do not breach the certain SLA. Okay. All right. Also, organizations. Yeah, organizations they're basically there to monitor activity for organization within this project. So if I go here, Lakefront in one project, okay, let me add it in here. So that is going to be one organization in here, and now I can see more details in here. I can see what was going on in here, right? And those organizations then later can actually be added to those requests that you actually were made in there. Because if you try to add an organization, it's not really going to you know, have any of the results in there. So basically your organizations are groups of your specific customers, right? Let's say you have customers from company A, customers from company B, customers from company C, and etc. So you can group all of those customers within one organization, which is actually a pretty cool thing to do. Okay, so we have the option to actually add the customers in here. Now, when the customers are actually being added in here, so it's saying these people can request help in your project. You can select a customer to view and manage their information. So if you want, you can go ahead and you can do that. Another way that you can actually access your portal is when you click on channels and you have the portal right here and you actually open it. There are things such as the email, and most of the time when you're actually creating your service management project, it needs to have an email handler that is going to handle all of those upcoming requests. The thing is the thing that you can also do is to actually create another email that is going to handle those requests as well. Those emails can either be Atlassian managed email, or it can be your own custom email that you can add. The thing is, though, to understand, you cannot add your emails, okay? You cannot add your custom emails that are part of the distribution mailbox, because simply this won't work well, or in my experience, it won't work at all. I tried it, it doesn't work at all. You can also add the widgets. Now, when it comes to the widgets, the good thing is you can then later embed that widget within your custom website. And also the chat in here, where you have the chat channels that you can actually you can integrate your Jira Service Management project with your Slack channels, and in there to actually make some of the requests. And when you actually make those requests, and when you make the ticket emoji there, it automatically creates an issue within your Jira Service Management project. That is like the mini automation thing that is really handful thing to do. That is how you can actually handle all of those requests. Okay. Let us go to some of the project settings in here. So first of all, details. Nothing too much to add here. Summary. For the summary, I can actually say, yeah, the same thing. Nothing really to add here. Okay. Features. Yeah. For the features themselves. So by default, this is going to be your configuration. You can have your work categories in here. You can add your service request management, incident management, problem management, change management, post-incident reviews, developer escalations, services, alerts, on-call. Basically, you can really customize your service management project and tailor it to your specific needs. If your business is all about the incidents, this could be the incident management. What kind of incidents? Let's say you have a SOC company. What is this? Security Operations Center. Within the Security Operations Center, you have your SOC analysts, basically the people who are actually out there analyzing the SIEM logs for any of the malicious activities within the system, and actually to, you know, to react in a appropriate manner in order to actually eliminate those threats. For example, that's how you can actually use the how you can actually enable and use the incident management, for example, access. Okay, just like in software projects, in here you can add your people, but when you're adding your people, when you're actually selecting the roles, you're going to have your customers and you're going to have your service desk team. Service desk team are your agents, and service desk customers are, well, going to be your customers in there that can actually make all of the requests. That is the most important thing to know. Project permissions. Okay, this in here is the, like in Jira software projects. You also have the permission scheme in here. The famous two permissions that were added: edit workflows and manage issue layouts. Jira admin can only manage your permission schemes. Remember that. I'm not gonna go through this because this is something else, but I'm going to go through this, which is going to be the customer permissions. Now, the very first information here there is, it's saying that basically agents and project admins can add new customers to a project by adding a CC into the email. What actually this means? This means that when you're creating an email and when you want to make a request from your email, actually you know the email address of this specific service management project. You enter that email address, but also you want to include someone in the CC. You can do that, and they will get notified automatically about this. Okay, now I'm going to leave this as open. Now there are some other things in here. They're saying that Jira admins can update the customer access settings. Now when I click on this, it's gonna lead me to this interesting page. Okay, so I can specify in here the account types, internal and external. And I was talking about the portal access for the external customers that do not actually need to have the Atlassian license at all. So that is something that you can do. Okay, and how do you actually do this? You have this portal access option, and it's saying don't allow customers to create their own accounts. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say customers can create their own accounts by signing up or sending an email request. That's one thing. And it's saying customers can access and send requests from the portal without logging in. Now, it's going to have an impact on 10 projects in here. So you want to be careful about this option in here. Okay. Allow portal only customers. Yeah. And you can say, you know what? They can make the requests without logging in. That's it. You make the changes there, and basically anyone on the internet can make the requests. Careful about this because you might get some of the spam requests, or you just might get an overload. Okay, more important stuff. Request types. Oh boy. So when it comes to request types, each service management project has its own request types, and each request type is tied with its issue type. So as you can see in here, we have the request type, issue type, workflow, portal groups, restrictions, and the actions as well. Now, you can create a new request, totally new request type, and you can create it in 3 ways: from the template, create it blank, or create it using the AI. Now, I'm going to select create from blank, and I'm going to say in here my request. And as you can see on the right side of the screen, this is how is it going to look like. You can change the icon in here. Okay, this is how it's going to look like. Now, 2 options that you have are going to be your portal groups. So all of the options that you actually saw when we went to the customer portal, and you actually saw all of those request types, all of those request types were actually showing because they were having this general portal group. Now for the issue type, I can select a different issue type, and I can say, you know what, this is going to be a developer escalation. And in here, when I selected this, now it's leading me to this screen right here. Okay, this is the screen where I can do some interesting things. I can add more fields. For example, I can add an attachment in here. I can add, let's say, what do I have in here? I have teams, I have request time, reproduced in, I have priority. If I want to add it, and I'm going to click on this, and I'm getting this drop down now. The question is, what actually this is? Now, plain and simple. So now, display name. So this doesn't have to be named priority. I can say this importance, for example, and I can actually hide this field if I want. So yeah, I can use a preset value and hide it from the portal, or I can say, you know what, this is required. That's one thing. The another thing that you can also do is within here. It's saying anyone can raise this request. Now, I can search actually for a group or organization or anyone else, and I can limit this only to, let's say, a specific group that can raise some of the requests. Like, let's say my SOC analyst team. I want for them to be able to raise their types of the requests, and I can do this. How can I actually do this? The best way would be to actually have a group of those SOC analysts and actually add that group right here, and then only they will be actually able to do this, and no one else but them. Okay. Or if I want to collect more information in here, so this can be from the very simple requests to more complicated and more complex requests. I can attach a form here if I want. But first, I would have to create a form. But since I'm only creating a request type, I'm just gonna keep it simple. Alright. Now, and I go for my request types, it's gonna say, yeah, this is going to be my request, but something's weird. So I have a workflow in here, and the thing is, it's shared by 3 projects. I can actually definitely replace with the existing workflow. Okay, and I can select the workflow, what kind of workflow this is going to be, and change the issue type, and this is going to be okay. Yeah, and this is I'm going to use the default workflow. If I went through and make the whole workflow from the scratch, this would last a long time. Okay, and now when we go back to the project, when we go to raise a request, when I click on my request, this is what we're having. And remember that priority, it's now called the importance. Okay. Let's try to... I'm not going to rush for this, but I don't want to make it 24-hour long. Forms. Yeah, you can actually create your forms in here, either from the template or to create it from the blank. And there are 2 types of forms that you can actually create. You can have a basic form. You just like a survey. You have laid out fields right there, what is required, what is not required, what you need, that's it. Or you can have dynamic forms based on the field that you have selected. That is going to be the outcome of the other flow of your forms. So that is kind of the thing. You can at any time translate this form. So if you have German-speaking teams, French-speaking teams, Spanish-speaking teams, at any time you can actually create the translations for the forms themselves. You can always create a preview, and you can change these settings if you want. Personally, I wasn't really doing this, so yeah. Okay, channels and self-service. Yeah, this is important. Yeah, you have the name of the portal, the introduction text, you have the adding of the logo. This is something that you can also change as well. Portal groups. This is where you can actually add new portal groups in here. And as you can see, this is how it looks like. Remember, all of those request types, and those request types are actually part of the general portal group. The email. Okay, this was changed, and it's in here. It's saying the emailed request type. This is by default, and you can actually view the logs in here. This is where you can see the logs and when you can actually troubleshoot all of the problems when it comes to the email requests. You can add an external email using a Google, using a Microsoft, or create an Atlassian email with the prefix, and where you can actually create a request type as well. Chat options. This is where you actually add Atlassian Assist to your Slack, and when you want to create a support ticket or something like that, you write that in. Agents are usually going to be part of that chat. They react with the ticket emoji, and automatically the request gets created. Okay. Yeah, knowledge base, we always have that. Widgets. Yeah, this is something if you want to embed your portal within your site, but for this you would have to allow basically anyone to be able to make the requests if they don't have the Atlassian account. That is the thing. Okay. Okay, so yeah. I believe that this was actually enough to actually understand how you can use the service management projects at its best. I hope you guys like this full course. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. See ya. Bye.